Hello grade 5s, welcome back to another math video. We're actually going to jump into a new unit here, Unit 7, Statistics and Probability. I took a look at the end of geometry to show what you know. You guys have done enough work in the last few weeks with that, so we're just going to move to the next one. Statistics and Probability is the last unit for the year. I like to save it to the end because it's nice and easy, good way to kind of breeze through June. So we'll hammer out these last lessons here, and that's it. You've finished everything for grade 5 math, so nicely done. So this first page, we'll just kind of go over the vocab and the learning goals as usual. So learning goals: understand the difference between first-hand data and second-hand data. That's what we're doing today. Construct and interpret double bar graphs. Use the language of probability. Super easy. And compare the likelihoods of outcomes, which is also super easy. Some key words: first-hand data, second-hand data. We're going to do that right now. Double bar graph, horizontal axis, vertical axis, easy, legend, impossible, possible, certain, likely, unlikely, probable, improbable, probability, outcome, and experiment. Sounds like a lot, but it's super straightforward. So shouldn't take us too long. Alrighty, so lesson 1, first-hand data and second-hand data. We're just going to break down what those two things are, and then I'm just going to give you some practice questions, because practice questions are the easiest way to learn a simple concept. I like to start here with these examples. So it says your teacher will draw this table on the board. Draw, pretend I did it. Ask the question, how do you usually get to school? Right, so if you just think quickly, how would you answer that question? How do you usually get to school? If you wanted to collect that information from your class, what would you do? I think the most common answer would be go around and ask people. Then there's a second question. Elementary school students across Canada answered the same question. Here are the results for 100 students. So how do you think they got that information? Did somebody go around asking that question to people? Or was there maybe another resource that you could use? So there's different ways to collect data, and that's what we're going to look at here. So data you collect yourself, okay, that's first-hand data. So this question here, if I asked you guys, how do you usually get to school? That's the thing I can answer using first-hand data. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to write it on the board. I'm going to go to the next person, ask them, write it on the board. Data collected by someone else is called, this should be an is, it's called second-hand data. So this question, elementary school students across Canada, I am not going to go town to town asking students how they get to school. Okay? I could make a phone call and I could ask somebody else. Maybe there's some website on the internet that's already done that, but I'm not going to do it personally. Okay, so that's second-hand data. I have a second-hand source. So this chart here, right? Mrs. Risotta's class studied weather. The students measured the rainfall for 5 days. For Mrs. Risotta's class, these results are first-hand data. They collected it themselves. Okay, they did the experiment, so it's first-hand data. For you, okay, or for me, these results are second-hand data. I didn't collect it. You didn't collect it. Mrs. Risotta's class collected the data, so somebody else did it. It's second-hand data. If it's us using it. During the 5 days that measurements were taken, we know that. So the biggest thing that you're going to have to do in this unit is take some information, take a set of data or a set of information, and tell me some stuff about it. Okay, so if I look at that chart, the things that the textbook pulled out anyway, more rain fell on Thursday than on any other day. I look at the chart, all right, 12 millimeters on Thursday, 5, 9, 0, 12, 0. 12 is the biggest. So most rain on Thursday. That's a simple thing, but it's something we learned from the information. There were 2 days when no rain fell. That's something I learned from the chart. I could also say there were 3 days when rain did fall. So we're going to look at first-hand data, second-hand data, and then what do we learn? What are some things we learned about the information we have? Oops, sorry about that. The students also looked at second-hand data from a government website. So we've got cities here. Okay, annual average precipitation. Okay, rainfall, snowfall. So we've got all these cities from across Canada. There's all our data. From these data, the students know that Vancouver usually has more precipitation than any other two cities together. Yeah, there's no way I can combine these four numbers to get bigger than 1167. Regina has the least precipitation of the five cities, right, down at 364. Yeah, that makes sense. You could add it all up. You could tell me the total average precipitation. You could tell me the highest precipitation, the lowest precipitation. You can combine some stuff. So there's lots of ways to look at it. And then it's straight into questions. So, like I said, the easiest thing to do is to actually practice. So I'm going to, in another video, go over the answers. I'm going to talk you through how to answer the other questions. I would like you to give them a try beforehand. They're really, really, really straightforward. Okay, number one, Matthew goes fishing at a lake near his home. He counts how many fish he catches in 1 hour. It says first or second-hand data, and then explain. The explaining is going to be important. Sylvia is interested in endangered animals. She wants to find out how many sea lions live off the west coast of BC. Should she use first or second-hand data? All right, just keeping in mind, data you can collect yourself, and you did collect yourself, is first-hand. Data that you looked up in a book, you searched it up on the internet, you asked a professional, you asked another class, you read it in a newspaper, you heard it on the radio, you listened to a podcast, watched a movie, something in a movie or a documentary. That's all second-hand data. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then breaking down, what did you learn from that information? Super, super, super simple. So I will go over the questions you need to do in a separate video. So do the practice stuff, check your answers in the video, you'll learn some more there. And then the assignment, again, is going to be very, very easy. So super easy way to finish off the school year. Alrighty, any questions, just let me know. Other than that, we'll see you in the answer video.